Join us on this next episode for.
where we debrief the first test match, talk about the moments and instances that cost us the game, and more importantly, the wins from the first test match.
Hey Arvind, I need a shoulder to cry on, man. I'm
I could
so
use
sad.
one too. It's been a day. It's been some test match.
Oh, man.
I know we sort of have a smile on our face, but I think it's just because we are, just got together to talk this through, knowing that this is going to be more comforting, and
Oh man.
we'll definitely try to come out of this feeling better.
I mean, I had such high hopes after the first day. Let's go like innings by innings of this game. Like there
Sure.
have been so many moments where I have felt like, wow, this
Hmm.
could be the beginning of something new. And frankly speaking, I think it is the beginning of something new.
Yep.
uh, like with Gill like coming becoming a leader this time, I felt if
Yeah,
not winning, he scored,
new
right?
captain, new faces, new arguably new bowling lineup, or in a transient
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
transient phase.
yeah,
Yeah, many things that we definitely sort of spoke about in the preview video that we were trying to definitely looking forward to.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
would say few to many things came good. Few to many things didn't really turn out as well.
yeah, yeah. But like starting afresh, I think the
Mhm.
lineups we predicted for both the teams pretty much like turned out as expected, right? In the
Absolutely. I think we both pretty much got it right. I was from what I remember and mentioned, I think I had Arshdeep in instead of Shardul.
Shardul.
I think given looking at the wicket and of course there were few tweaks made.
Yeah.
I think retrospect we can debate about Shardul's decision, to be in the team or not.
Yeah.
But I think, of course, looking at the pitch, the team management would have thought that having that extra batter slash bowler could definitely have helped. But yeah, with respect to I think Karan and Sai, we definitely got it right
Yeah.
of
I mean,
their inclusion in the team.
you were trying to, I mean, I felt you were trying to force fit him in, but
I
seems
know,
like
right?
Indian team trusts him to be number three. So like,
Hmm.
who are we to judge? So I mean, starting off,
Hmm.
whatever other preview videos, review videos, or kind of analysis videos I saw, everybody said it's a bowl first wicket, it's a bowl first wicket, the chasing is going to be amazing. And
Exactly.
then I saw India's first innings. It was so refreshing, so beautiful to watch. I think,
Indeed.
I mean, KL Rahul, very unlucky to not score big in the first innings. I mean, we even sent each other a text saying he KL, you said, right? He KLified himself. Like he
Yeah,
was,
exactly. He sort of Rahul himself out. So that is
yeah, right? He was scoring
typical
so
Rahul
well.
fashion.
But I mean, that was just a loss of concentration, I felt. And I think Sai's wicket is more down to KL getting out at the wrong time.
You could uh, you could say so. I mean, it's ready to take a stand. I would not really say so. I mean, in the sense that at
Really?
94 1, I think when the first wicket fell, we definitely had a good, strong first session.
Mhm.
If at all, the narrative that was, that the, Headingley pitch had going into the first day, first session was usually first session is when the bowlers have good purchase of the wicket and probably depending on the weather, there might be, some more help as well. Knowing the fact, I think we sort of weathered the session very well, being 90 for no loss, first day, first session, with the build-up, that went into this test. There was solid start.
I mean,
Uh,
90 for no loss, we would have liked,
for sure,
but
yes.
yeah,
And when Sudarshan walked in, uh, let me take a pause there. Probably I would first say that seeing Sudarshan at number three was definitely a bit of a surprise.
me
Knowing
too.
that Karan had scored like a double hundred, he's
Correct.
definitely way more experienced.
Yeah,
Compared to the middle order contingent, has experience playing in England in county cricket
right.
as well. I thought Karan would or could have come at number three. I would still feel that we can get to that a little later.
I mean,
As far as Sai was concerned, yeah, maybe.
I thought
Mhm.
India having like Karun being the relatively more experienced pro over Sai, I thought India would kind of bed Sai in a little more, not
Exactly.
throw him in the deep end at number three,
True, true,
maybe
true,
set him
true.
at number five. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you usually over the years, as we've seen, number three to be like a, like a Pujara or a Dravid who would come, anchor, sort of see the ball out, help it grow hold, typical fashion.
right.
But yeah, seeing Sai was again, they are also trying out things. I would, he would definitely get
Presume
his chances. But maybe number six or swapping positions with current could have helped. You never know. All of this is sort of
hindsight.
retrospect.
Yeah,
The only thing I could, complain a bit about was, he could have, seen that, five balls, I think. It was
yeah, yeah, yeah. Three,
just,
four balls.
last over before lunch, he could have seen that out so that he definitely would have felt, good about it. Sort of, going in there, saying five balls out, and he could have, gone on and,
I
built on
mean,
that foundation.
having seen how well the openers played, especially like KL, the restraint he showed, and Yashasvi actually for how attacking he is, he
Yep.
also showed pretty good restraint when he opened like the innings in the first innings. He was leaving the ball well. He was only hitting the bad balls. KL's cover drives are so
Oh,
glorious
they
to watch,
classy, like
man.
truly, truly classy.
Oh
I
man,
think one of the spectators in the ground had a Kale Rolls Royce or something on the banner board.
I am
Uh, yeah.
I'm sure if Chiki Chika was sitting somewhere,
Oh,
he would be
I
shouting
think
it across the
I
whole
haven't had
room.
a chance to, look at his podcast yet, but he would have been on over the moon. He would have been like raving about how well KL batted over the course of the game. But again, I think credits where it's due. He could have gone on to, make the most in the first innings itself because he was looking
Correct.
pretty solid. And that one ball, that one mistake, I think that was probably the only mistake of his innings.
That's
And
actually true.
infamously, Sanjay Manjrekar called it out, saying that, "Hey, a certain someone could have nicked it." So, but
Man. But
lapse in concentration, yeah.
I read a stat saying KL Rahul in the last whatever, I think 10 years or something, when in ESPN Cricket Info, since they started tracking drops and lives and luck factor in batting, he is
Oh,
apparently one of the most unluckiest batsmen, it seems.
oh,
Like the
is it
three
okay?
luckiest are Rishabh Pant, Labuschagne, and Stokes. Not in that order, but they are the
Hmm.
top three who've been given the most lives. But KL Rahul has had like comparatively
Yeah,
very less lives. I mean,
sure.
you cannot put his mistake or lack of
Oh, no,
concentration
of
on
course,
that.
exactly.
But
It's a factor. Hey, come on, like we all know,
correct.
games and innings where people have gone on to capitalize
I
on it.
mean,
Uh,
honestly speaking, the biggest like luck factor is Maxwell's greatest ever innings is the 200 against
oh, exactly.
Afghanistan. He was two dollies were dropped
You
like by
know.
Afghanistan. So, but nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about how what an
In
amazing
hindsight,
one.
retrospect, what stands is just the scoreboard, right? You just look at the numbers and you're like
Correct.
wowed but it. So,
Yeah.
these stories just, gets lost.
Yeah. But I mean, having said that, India having lost KL and Sai, the way Gill batted at number four was so brilliant.
Exquisite, yeah.
I mean, it was a coming of age like innings I felt
True, true, true,
because
true.
he was the captain. He took the number four slot and he was so fluent. The shots were so beautiful, man.
Great.
I mean, watching Yashasvi and Gill bat together. Where I mean, let's face it, they are the next two big things of Indian batting.
Yeah, that is one. I was even going to say that they're probably going to be the next white ball openers for us, at least say ODI to
Well,
start
yeah,
with.
true. That's actually a
T20
good point.
has way more competition, but they're probably going to be like, our ODI opening,
Oh man,
partnership in the years to come. And yeah, well said. Shubman Gill, exquisite elegance, class, it's sort of difficult to describe him. I know this is my own personal opinion. I know the media used to tell, looking at Rohit bat, it seemed as if he had that sort of extra bit of time.
time.
Some of Gill's like back foot punches and drives
Oh
somehow somehow made me feel that as well. Or it could just the pure class of how he executed them.
yeah,
It was as if we were watching it them on like slow mo, and
slow
him
motion.
actually like making good contact, middling the ball. Man, his back foot jabs are his trademark shot.
Unbelievable. I mean,
So.
the I mean, again, right? I saw analysis videos, like videos of
Hmm.
other people kind of talking about it. The thing that everybody highlighted was that he was leaving the good balls alone. He was
Precisely,
defending the
yes.
good balls and putting away the bad balls. The
Yep.
same goes with Yashasvi. Like, even he was hitting the bad balls away. He was not losing out on those, but good
Yep.
balls, he was definitely giving it respect. And
Right.
it was like, it was a treat to watch, especially watching Yashasvi score 100 and then
Yep.
Gill score 100. It was, I mean, I did not really want that to end, but I think the cramp in Yashasvi's arm played some
That
factor
was
in getting out.
for no, for sure. It would have definitely made him restless or unsettled. To be honest, I remember still watching, watching that session live. I was texting my other friends, be like, "Hey, is that even real? Like, can someone actually get like an
Cramp in the
hand,
arm.
fist, or forearm cramp?" And you know what? Strangely, the very next day, I sensed or I felt something similar. I don't know what I did, but it's just hilarious as if God's way of saying, "Hey, that's what it is. That's how you feel."
You're so
Hmm.
deeply following the cricket
I know,
match
I
that
know. I
whatever
was
is
pretty
happening
sick,
there is happening to
psyched
you.
myself into Jaiswal's innings, but
That
but
was
true,
amazing. I mean, the 100 that he scored, especially the apparently the stats are that he scored most of his runs on the offside. Like,
he did.
he had
Yes,
some trouble on his pads.
right.
There was a time when England were trying to bounce him and trying to make
Hmm.
him uncomfortable by his shoulder, and he was struggling a bit. But I mean, he came through that brilliantly, I think.
Pretty solid. And now I think he has a record for like scoring centuries in West Indies, Australia, and I think he typically does it in the first Test match of the
Yeah,
series.
I think
Yeah, and I
South
think he
Africa is
did
the only
score
one
a
he missed out. South Africa is the one he missed out.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think he did score a century in the first Test while England toured India as well, because that was his sort of his breakthrough,
Okay.
breakaway season slash series. So
I think
no,
in that series he scored two double hundreds, right? He was,
he did indeed, indeed.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Yes,
yeah. I mean, Yashasvi Jaiswal announced himself to the world, like in the true
definitely
sense, against a top team. So
top
that
team
was
for sure. Yeah,
unbelievable. Like, the point where both of them were playing, the English attack looked toothless. Like, they did
it did.
not seem to have
Yep.
anything in them. India were playing them so well.
I
And
don't
lo
think
and
they even
behold,
bothered them or troubled them. Like, they
correct,
defended well, including Shubman. I remember this phase where English bowlers, knowing that Shubman is susceptible to like in swinging and end dippers, they
correct.
sort of kept at it, and he defended them. Of course, he left the balls he could, but then he also defended and middled the balls that he had to because they were pretty much staying on his pad. So
I think the biggest difference was against Australia. He played those 4 5 beautiful shots, and then he almost seemed restless where he came down the track, tried
right,
an extravagant shot, and got out. Here, I felt he curbed those instincts and kept, like, him talking to himself. Oh, maybe, I'm sure he
for
must be
sure.
talking
Yeah,
to
yeah,
himself
yeah.
in his head. Like, he was able to kind of go through that period, play that rough period, and then get there. Man, it was a
I was going to
joy.
say that he probably played a truly true like captain's knock for
Captain's
sure.
knock.
Like you could say so. It is. I'm sure it would do him a world of good. Like we can always rant or banter about how good the pitch was and
Yeah.
probably bowlers didn't have much, so on and so forth. But given the magnitude and the build up leading to the test match, sure, this would definitely, have sort of calmed his nerves down, and it's definitely, what other way to, get your test series underway.
Oh,
So,
that's what
and you're staying as captain, so.
in the interview with Dinesh Karthik. That's what when Dinesh
Hmm.
Karthik asked him about, like, what do you feel about your first test as first series as captain.
Hmm.
He said, before that, I want to be the best batter in the series. So, like, everybody was lauding him for the fact that he was not losing sight of his batting being the most
So,
important part over
yep,
captaincy. And I mean, he showed that brilliantly. Like, 200s from him and Yashasvi,
yep,
it looked
yep.
Like brilliant. And then lo and behold, I told you Ben Stokes is the one who is gonna
You
make
did
that
indeed.
difference.
Props where it's due. You did call it out. I even remember you brought out that reference of, I think it was Rohit Sharma, and how well or how
Yeah,
good
correct.
he was going, and then he brings Ben Stokes brings himself on, and then he goes out to like run through our middle order back then. Man, yeah, I mean he
Identical, right?
if identical, yeah, and we sort of predicted it, and yeah, like India had to sort of rest their roles on
Yeah.
Jasprit Bumrah. I think England had Ben Stokes to, rest their weight on.
No, definitely. In the first innings, I think hands down their best bowler was Ben Stokes. He was able
Oh,
to move
definitely,
the
yes.
ball, he troubled the batsman. He
hmm
was just unbelievable.
He exactly. Plus the whatever little the pitch could offer, he actually like set the batsman up
Correct.
and got the wicket. Like especially Sahi, he sort of played with him, and
Yeah.
I think he got Sahi in both innings. So he sort of
Right.
played him, set him, and then like got him out. So
So the first innings of Sai, you could say, hey, it's just luck. Like anybody could have one of those dismissals. But the fact that he set him up and got him out in a
the second
similar
innings
way in
as well,
second
yes.
innings, like the beautiful thing about that is you might look $1 million, you might be an amazing player. The international cricket levels are so high. They see one chink in your armor and they
And then come at you,
immediately
no, for
exploit
sure.
it. It's unbelievable. The precision to land the ball where they want for the field. It's crazy, man. Like
Oh yeah,
Yashasvi.
no, for sure.
So again, one of the analysis shows, right? Yashasvi apparently has a weakness just outside his off stump as a on a
hmm
length delivery. So apparently Boland got him out a few
Oh,
times
he
where
troubled
he
him,
cleaned
yes.
him up or like nicked him
Nicked
behind.
him to the,
The
yep,
Andre Berger nicked him behind and got him out on that line. Even Ben
yep,
Stokes got him out in the same way. Even the second innings, for that matter, it was the same
yep,
line. The bounce was different, but same
yep,
line. So even for him, they've sort of found a chink in his armor and they're
yep.
going honing into exploiting it. It's crazy,
I think,
dude.
yeah, these days with, data analysts and so much of data available, you just have to identify like the weaknesses or pain points and,
Yeah.
back your bowling and like both the
Yeah.
right lens to, get the
And
batter out.
once Yashasvi fell, you had the Maverick come in.
Rishabh Pant
Man,
walk
what do you
in.
have to say about Pant?
Wow, it's sort of difficult to describe him, right? Like, one might argue, and this is my again personal opinion, he is definitely India's best test batter at the moment,
Yeah, yeah,
and like and miles ahead of most others. And he's such a, yeah, as you rightly put, such a maverick, such a stark contrast to how you would expect to play,
Test cricket.
test cricket. Yeah, exactly. So he is. I know he's India's version of baseball. Like he's probably the only one who could like successfully execute it as effortlessly as you would see.
Sure, sure.
And having said that, to be very true and very honest, he's actually got great defense. Like some
Yes,
of the ball he
yes.
defended, you at least his shots might look unorthodox, but some of his defense, especially the ones that you sort of play with, lighter,
Soft
lighter
hands.
hands, soft hands, exactly was pretty sharp. I think there was even a comparison video between like how Pant navigated a similar ball better than Sai could, and of course Sai got out. Like Pant didn't, while
Ah,
Pant was able to play with lighter or softer hands and then keep the ball down. So again, oftentimes I think we get so carried away with describing Pant the batter, Pant the
yeah.
maverick, someone who could go after the bowling, but he definitely has within himself to like pause and see out balls or deliveries or different good balls when needed. And I don't know if you were listening to a lot of his lot of what Stump Mike could capture,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
especially after he was getting rattled. He was actually appreciating some of the some of the good or better balls that English bowlers bowled. And that was that shows he is, even though it appears like he's someone who is like rogue and goes out of the
Yeah, yeah.
goes after the bowling. Uh, at the core of it, he's actually, thinking critically about his game, and knows his game, the strength point, and of course, is wise enough to sort of see out the bowling. The one thing I'd probably add to it was when he was in 99, he probably played, defended, left good
But I
pin
think
balls.
wasn't that the second innings? I
Oh, it
thought
wasn't
that
the
was the
timings.
second
I
innings.
was probably getting carried away. I'm sorry.
I see
But I just
the
wanted
fact
to
that he
bring
scored
something up
100
to, yeah.
the fact that he scored 100 in both innings, it's very easy to kind of get carried away
Precisely, yes.
between the two. But I think that was the second. In the first
You're right.
innings, even the talking to himself was in the second innings, I thought.
The yeah, in the first innings, I remember he was on 95 and he hit Bashir for a single-handed
Correct.
six to get to his
Correct.
century.
Correct.
Yeah.
That was
So
stereotypical punt. And
that was flamboyance.
I
Yeah.
think the highlight of his innings easily. The second ball to Ben Stokes, he ran
Coming,
down the
yeah.
wicket and hit him. Man, theater,
I know.
theater.
Mm.
Oh, I mean, the way India ended day one, 350 or something for three. I mean,
We had a strong handle on the game. Like,
I had like smile from here to here. I was
oh
so
no, for
happy.
sure. We were
I was
we were
so
probably looking on track to for like a 500, 600
easy,
score, like
easy.
easily.
And honestly, we should have. Honestly, we should
We
have.
should
That
have,
is
yeah.
where in both the innings, India lost out. Like
We
even
we crumbled. Like the way we lost wickets was I
I
don't know
mean,
how to
it,
say
it
this.
basically showed a lack of experience. Like, frankly speaking,
Yep.
India were like when in the second day, when Gill got out, it was 450 for four or
Yep.
something. 430,
I
four
was
thirty for four
yeah.
something.
And I was probably going to bring sorry, just to add on that, I was probably going to bring Gill's wicket in as well. I personally felt he sort of gave it away.
Hmm.
Bashir had set him with a slow looping short ball with, field settings.
Hmm.
He sort of lured him into playing that shot, and at 147, he could have, of course, this is a fan speaking. He could have,
Gone
seen that
long.
overthrow and waited it out. But
So
yeah,
apparently, this was alluded to by Dinesh Karthik in commentary that when India were 430 odd for three,
hmm.
apparently there was a message coming in from Gautam Gambhir for India to go for it,
Oh,
to
is it?
kind of attack. So that's why Shubman Gill sort of went for it. And after a couple of wickets that fell, like you had Shardul fall and you had, I think, Karun Nair
Kevin Nair followed suit very
fall,
soon.
and
That
then
is,
there was another message that came in from Gautam Gambhir to ask Punch to slow down. And if you remember, Punch got out, leaving like a ball which he seemed to
yeah,
need
just
too
let
much.
dip back in. Yes.
Yes. So I think I'm sure Gautam Gambhir would have wanted to send out a message to move the test forward, but in that
Hmm.
attempt, I think he muddled some minds, and we lost the momentum there.
So,
I mean, it's not his fault, but I'm just saying,
oh
like
no, no,
how
of course.
small
These are just
things.
team instructions, right? Ultimately, it is batters who are in the middle and how they are able to execute it. Again, arguably, you could say for someone who's been scored 147 odd runs, could have played that ball
Yeah,
differently, could have gone after a different ball. But
yeah.
again, it's so easy to talk and
Think about it
postmort
now.
that in retrospect. So yeah.
See, honestly, the fact that he scored 148, he made most right decisions, like one bad
That
decision,
should be
and
celebrated more for
yeah,
sure. Like, being
100%,
the captain, first innings as a captain to go out and score that
100,
almost 150 is
yeah,
a statement now. That
yeah,
is going to do him a world of good. Is he could not that he's going to take his heads off of batting. It's just good enough validation to say that hey, it's still got in him, and he can definitely go out there and actually carry that baton both as a
yeah.
captain and as a number four batter. So
You would really hope he continues his form throughout the series and coming
for sure,
ahead.
yep.
But now coming back to the collapse, Karun Nair
I'm
definitely seemed like a lazy shot to get out. I mean, I don't know like
yeah,
what shot was that. And Shardul Thakur, for all the talk of him being an all-rounder,
a
I mean
lower
that was
order
a
batter.
having
Yeah,
scored
we
100 in the intra-squad game, like that was a stupid shot to
I
get
know
out.
for sure, agreed.
Yeah,
We
and
we just crumbled. What 50 odd runs we got
40,
out.
41 for
Oh,
6 or
40 was it?
41 for
Okay,
7
yeah.
something like that was. from a point where we looked hands on to go
All right,
500 plus.
440 to 471. Yes.
Yeah, like from being hands on to score 500 plus to get out for 470 is, I would say, criminal. But again, we have to remember that this is a new team, this is a
They
fresh
are
team.
learning.
You have
Agreed.
to.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would give them cut them some slack for the first innings because
Yep.
you did most of your work. But I mean, highlights wise, yeah, I mean, you have to talk about the three centurions, right? I
Oh,
mean,
for sure. Yes. The 3 tons. I even remember it was end of day one, I think, where, Sachin famously tweeted saying that, hey, I think it was 1996, a test match in 1976 where him, like Tendulkar, Ganguly, and Dravid scored centuries in the same innings or
oh,
so.
I
So
don't
he
remember.
was, and then at that point in time, I think neither Pant or Shubman had scored a century. I'm just making a reference of how high we ended the day one, and then
Oh,
how
right,
we
right.
collapsed from there.
I think day one, Shubman had scored 100. I think
Was he
Pant was
okay?
yet
I
to score.
think yeah. I don't
But whatever.
remember it right
But
now.
I mean, being compared to the trio of like Dravid, Ganguly, and Sachin is great. Like
Oh no, of course,
news for them that they are being compared at that level. That means people
definitely.
do rate them that highly.
Yep.
I mean, they did what they could. Like honestly, there
Hmm.
is no complaints about either of their shots or how they got out. I think all three. I think the top order, even KL, although he missed out on his big score, but I think he did his job. He blunted the new ball,
He
got
looked
us into
solid
that
for sure.
situation.
But for
So
that one ball he got out, he looked solid. So yeah.
yeah, that was a brilliant innings. Now coming to the second innings, I mean, I think if you
Oh,
had
do
to
you
def-
wanna do you wanna go talk about England's first innings first and go in that
I,
order?
no, I mean England's first innings doesn't. I want to come to England's batting's first inning. So that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Like, in the sense that if you had to define this test match for India,
Hmm.
other than the top order scoring, the defining feature has to be dropped catches. Like,
Had to be fielding, yeah. Number if one thing, if end of the 5 days, if I had to pinpoint and say, hey, this one thing could have been different
yeah,
and could have like changed the sort of whole landscape of the game,
yeah.
hands down has to be the catches drop.
Oh man. I mean, to drop five catches against this English side
You know,
is that for sure is criminal. Like I'll say, because you can't
yeah,
in test matches, your bowlers on such a wicket where chances are very tough to come by.
I
They're
was about to say
like,
that. Like Jasprit Bumrah was able to extract purchase out of the wicket even in
yeah,
a pitch that was like pretty close to being dead.
dead.
The way he got Zach Crawley out the first innings.
Bumrah,
Man,
phenomenal.
he's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he's celebrated enough. He is recognized as probably the only bowling superstar out there.
Mhm.
And yet the baller inside me feels that he's probably not celebrated as much. Like, how do I put this through? He to get the ball to move and talk and do as much in the first session of play or in England's first session of play, it shows a lot. Like he is miles apart of course, miles apart of the Indian bowling contingent, and
There's
arguably
no
he's
doubt.
probably the best bowler of the game as well. Like,
At this
across,
point, yeah. I mean, I
yeah,
don't think anybody questions the fact that in the current
exactly.
modern era or currently whoever is playing,
Hmm.
I will say it's a close context between him and Pat Cummins for test matches. But if you have to
So
talk about all format bowler, hands down, Jasprit
I think
Bumrah is the
is yeah,
is
hands up.
the game changer that India has. To
And the
think,
fact that he was able to like get those, I think the first 3 or 4 overs he bowled, he was quite literally getting two opportunities per over.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
almost
fielding and
let
like
him
catches being dropped. That must be so I don't know,
difficult.
frustrating, disappointing for him as a bowler. We can argue. I would definitely want to touch upon like Jaiswal, but Jadeja dropping that catch
Oh
is
man.
some wow. It is unexpected.
And it seemed, and
It
see,
seemed easy, of course.
you
It's
see,
easy for us to
exactly, like on the field it might be difficult, but it
I think by
was
the standards Jadeja has set for
by
himself.
anybody's standard, dude. International cricket, it's your hip high, you're at
Yep,
point, and it's not like he has nicked it significantly. He's almost timed it to you. You should
exactly.
take that. There is no excuse to dropping
There
it.
is no excuse. I agree. Yep.
And to think we would have had both their openers. Like that would have been a
Under
brilliant
20
stuff.
runs or so, yes, indeed.
Yeah, because he ended up scoring some 70, 60 odd runs at a really fast pace.
After, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have gotten him out. It is, I mean, criminal, man. The way they let Bumrah down. Honestly, I will say they let Bumrah down because,
It is definitely demoralizing for a
yeah,
bowler, and especially the only one who's been creating chances. Yes.
yeah.
On that
But,
note, I would also want to say this for for Jaiswal. I know he'd probably dropped 4 catches over the course of the game,
yeah, man.
and I think he dropped 2 or 3 at that fourth slip slash
Yeah,
gully
yeah, yeah.
position.
Correct.
I would, I don't know, I hope I'm proved right, and in what I'm going to follow and say. There were a couple of catches he dropped at the same position in Australia as well during
Hmm.
BGT, and there was, I think, couple of blinders he took,
Yeah,
which somehow gives me the confidence that he is learning to feel at that position. And I could probably go on record and say that he is going to master that position.
yeah.
It will take some time. It's an catching, it's an art, comes with practice. Of course, he's not probably go on to be like a Joe Root and like equalize what
No,
210 catches or
honestly,
so.
honestly speaking, I
But
have seen Joe Root drop a lot. I have seen Joe Root drop a lot. It's not like
as well.
he's the best slip catcher there is. If you have to say somebody is an amazing slip catcher, I'll say Rahul Dravid. Like
So, yeah, the
he is,
numbers are
and
out there, Ponting probably up there as well. But yeah, no, I was going to say, Jaiswal is going to improve. I think he's had some tough catches come his way, and that position is sort of difficult to, field at.
so
Uh,
apparently there is some record of in the first 17 catches that he's had, he's
mhm.
apparently dropped 3 but taken 14, and all 3 came in that same test match against Australia. So there
And
is, again, there's a stat where there seems to be a precedence for him losing concentration, in the sense that if he drops one, he sort of loses confidence, concentration, where he ends up dropping
hyper
a few
focus.
more.
Okay, okay.
Like, so the thing is, I hope he gets that back and starts taking the
Yeah, I
catches
hope,
like,
and I think definitely he will get that. I think it's I think he is feeling the pressure as well overall. It's a big stage for him.
yeah,
And he's 22, 23 years old, not too old.
24,
Uh,
I think, but
yeah,
still
I'm not
same
sure.
same
But
ballpark, same
either
ballpark.
ways, point being, he has a long way to go, long road to go. And I don't think he, unlike other seasoned, say, players who have extensively played either Ranji or county cricket, is sort of still learning.
Yeah,
Catching in white ball is a little different, so I'll
very
probably
different.
not bring that into the discussion. But again, point being, he is definitely someone who's ready to put their hard yards in.
Yeah.
So this in no time will sort of the narrative will
So
change around him.
the just a final touch up on this,
Hmm.
with Rohit and Kohli going, everybody was talking about their loss in batting. We should have probably counted
We
their
should
loss
have
in the slip
probably, I know,
quadrant.
agreed.
Like they are our slip
They
fielders.
were definitely safe houses,
Correct.
fielding in the slip quadrant.
So
Yeah.
I mean, having said that, India definitely like could have bundled England out for more, with a lead of more than 50 runs easy. More than 50 runs easy.
50 is probably an understatement. Yeah, I would probably. Yeah. So, on the note of dropped catches, I could probably borderline include Harry Brooks' wicket or dismissal on zero. It was a
Oh,
no
I mean,
ball.
you
Siraj
have
caught
to
it.
include that. You
But
have to include
point being, yeah, point being, there were way too many no balls in that session of play as well. We could have, and Harry Brook, I think, went on to score 99 runs. So, I would say arguably we could have saved 100 more runs easily.
that, man.
And,
I mean,
the entire context of this game would have changed from
and
there.
even the fact that when he was dropped at 0, it was the end of play towards day 2. Like you could
Exactly.
have gone into day 3 with a fresh batsman, England under pressure, and that could have changed the impetus, because honestly, Harry Brook played a blinder. Like he
Oh,
gave
agreed.
another chance, but
Yes.
some of the shots he hit off our bowlers was just insane. I was in awe watching him play, stand tall, walk down the wicket,
He is
hit it
tall. I was about to
over.
say that. Yes.
It was brilliant to watch. I mean, if there is an English batter who I felt, wow, it was Brook.
He's definitely, I mean, he's beyond that point. I think to just call him a prospect, he's a well-established batter now, and
Absolutely.
there is no two doubts about why he's probably been handed over like the white ball
White ball
captaincy. Just goes
captaincy.
on to shows that how much trust England have on him. So, yep, he's
He was brilliant. One thing, like I remember, like again, both of us talking at the beginning, then the preview video, it's gonna be Root and Brook against our bowling. When Root
sure.
got out for like 30 odd, 20 odd, I was like, we have
We
it.
have a chance. No, for
But
sure.
but Brook took it away, man, scoring 99.
He did
He
indeed.
he scored that at such a brisk
And
pace.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
go on,
go
go on,
on.
go on.
No, I was going to say the Harry Brooks scored that 99 runs at a good pace. Arguably, of course, England bundled out for under 6 runs of India's total.
Yeah,
No one scored a century in the first innings,
right.
but their tail chipped in with that 20, 30, 40 runs that
So
we
many.
were expecting out of our tail. That made a
I don't
difference.
think we ever expected that many runs from our tail, but frankly, we should have cleaned up their tail. We shouldn't have given that many runs from
No,
their
for
tail.
yeah, agreed. But yeah, I was going to say, given that we had Jadeja and Shardul, who were in the team to sort of extend the tail and
Extend
give
the
us a
tail.
longer batting growth, I would still argue and stick to the point that hey, we should have scored more in
Yeah.
our batting itself. But
No,
again,
I mean,
back to the
I
point
would
of
consider Jadeja and Shardul as all rounders, right? Like Bryden Cars and like
yep,
Josh Tung, and like I don't expect them to score
them
10,
to
20
score,
runs
yes,
each. So that is, and Vokes. Chris Vokes, I think, is a pretty decent batter.
he
He
has
has a hundred
good
against
stroke
us.
making. He has. I was about to mention that. Yes, so
But like, I mean, we gave way too many runs. Like, coming back to our bowling,
mhm.
Bumrah took five. Is a phenomenon. There is nothing to say about him that hasn't already been said.
For
But
sure,
what
yeah.
I really want to dwell about is the supporting act. Jadeja, I think, did his job. He contained. He did not give a lot of quick runs. But
Mm-hmm.
Shami and Prasid especially, dude, you cannot concede at
President
six plus.
Siraj, I know, agreed.
Not Shami, sorry, Siraj.
No,
My
that's
bad
okay.
with Shami. I hoped we had Shami, but
I hope we had the Shami off the peak.
oh man.
Man,
I
he
mean,
would have been
Prasid,
a different bowler
you cannot concede runs at six per over in Test match cricket.
in
That
test matches. I know.
I mean,
It so felt like,
he's learning. He's coming off a white ball IPL, and his lines lengths might be off. But to concede at six per over, you need to
he's
have given
definitely
a
criminal.
lot of loose balls.
I know, agreed. He, we could come to the England second innings later, but he was like leaking runs and not letting the pressure build,
E-
unfortunately for him. And,
Exactly. I mean,
I was going to say,
there
but
was
yeah,
zero pressure built for. I mean, there were two separate instances where consecutive sixes were scored off him. I mean, it's a
yes,
Test match. You cannot bowl so
let,
waywardly.
I know.
Oh man, yeah. You were gonna say,
No, I was just going to say, Prasid B, I was just going to add on to the point of, you mentioned that, hey, Bumrah was probably the only bowler we had. We
yeah.
technically had what, five bowlers. Jadeja okay-ish in the sense that he probably didn't concede as much, but didn't at least in the first inning wasn't as as frightening or as terrorizing as he could have been. But other bowlers, especially
Well,
you know,
Jadeja could have been had Pant caught. Bro, you never
for sure
see.
he
It's like
that
these
also goes
balls
to
in
the drop
exchange.
catches. Yeah.
But sure, go on.
No, I
Yeah,
was going
I
to
see
say
it.
even all of them. In fact, Siraj, Prasid, and a couple of overs that Shardul shipped in the first innings. They all three look patchy. Like it
Very.
looked like they could do something, and every 2 to 3-ish overs they had that one or two balls that like they nipped in, zipped in, and whatever you call them. I think they called it the volley off seam balls that sort
Oh,
of seem to do some or at least trick the batter in,
okay.
but it didn't really help build the pressure on that probably Jasprit was doing from one end.
I mean, it was. See, Prasid took three wickets. Siraj took two wickets. A few of in the first innings, I think Root's wicket was a false shot. Like it wasn't like something significantly a crazy ball. It was just a false shot. Like
Still,
Harry
we still
Brook,
got him.
yeah, Harry Brook eventually when he got out, he was looking at that point
That
seamless. He
that
got
was
out.
probably the one wicket you could say this arguably was something that we actually set the batsman up. and got that wicket.
Sure, but he had played short ball really well, so he gave that wicket away. Jamie Smith again,
Yeah.
we bowled short to him. He had hit a six, and then he again went for it and got caught. Even Ollie Pope, he had hit the cut shots really well, and one of the again Prasid Krishna's cut like short balls outside off, which he could have
Yep.
hit over, he just like didn't connect and he got out. So I mean, we had a few lucky wickets, but I mean, that's why your Prasid Krishna's figures of 3 wickets looks good, but I don't think he was good at
The
all
the
in the
story,
first.
yeah. If you look at the runs
Definitely in the
column, almost
yeah,
scoring what 80, 100 runs is definitely not
it's
doesn't look good.
Siraj, I still thought was little more disciplined. I mean, he's more
He
experienced as
looked
well.
better in the second innings,
Yeah,
arguably,
yeah.
as
I mean,
compared to
both. I
the
think
first
both of
innings.
our
Yeah.
bowlers looked better in the second
Yep.
innings. Yeah, but I mean, coming back to it, for like just a 6 run lead, definitely we would have wanted a
We
better
didn't really
push.
have much to work with. I know.
I mean, we could have and should have had a bigger lead.
Hmm.
I mean, owing to two things: scoring 500 and getting taking our
And
catches.
catching, yeah.
But uh, but having said that, let's just touch
We still
upon
started fine. Not really. The first innings we lost.
second innings. I think.
Sorry, second innings of India's batting we lost sorry, Jaiswal
Jaiswal.
early.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it was the
was
same ball
that
of like
perfect
short.
line ball that Bryden Cars over the wicket got him out. And then Sai came in. Sai, I think, scored 30 odd runs.
He looked good. He
He
actually
looked,
looked positive.
yep. But then, yeah, he got set up as well by a certain Ben Stokes.
No man. I mean, it was Sai and Ben looked. Sai and KL looked
Hey,
so good. Like they were actually putting the bad balls away. They were not going into a shell. They were actually scoring runs where they sort of kept the scoreboard ticking. Where it was like
mhm.
not like they've played 20 overs but the game hasn't moved. They did a really good job, and at that time it had gotten a little overcast. The ball was moving a bit as well, and Bryden Cast was in the middle of a really good spell.
Yep.
But they played brilliantly, and then again, right? I mean, what we spoke about, one chink in your armor that's going to be exploited. And I mean, again, one of the analysis videos that I was seeing, Ben Stokes bowled a similar ball to him, a little fuller, to give him that confidence to play the shot again. Like he hit a boundary of the previous ball, of the same shot. And
Hmm.
then he is confident saying, okay, I'm going to hit it again.
He sort
And
of
then,
put that bait out to, I
exactly.
didn't
And
play
then he
the ball.
pulled it back a little, he hit it to the fielder. And yeah, I
Yep.
mean, it. I will still say young player, just his
Get his
first
chances. I
test
think
match.
for sure. He'll
Yeah.
get his chances. He will. I think. I hope. Of course, the team management would have already spoke to him.
Mm,
This is just the first test match. There are many players who've gone on
yeah.
to be better batters after the first innings or first test match. So he would definitely get his chances,
Uh,
and I would
just
continue to bank
Just
them.
one point I want to make. Just a quick point. Size domestic Ranji test average isn't that great. It's about 30 odd.
I know you
The
mentioned this earlier.
one
Yes.
worry which I've had ever since his name was being touted in the IPL and even what I saw in both the innings
Hmm.
is he seems to be a stroke maker. No matter what we say,
He's
how
yes.
tight his technique is, he is a stroke maker. He likes to keep scoring. So I am a little tentative about him at number three because I think he likes to play a few too
Hmm.
many shots. So that's why he has that what Gill probably looked in Australia. Like he has a beautiful 30, but then like one
But then
falls
he
short
would
and he's
give
gone
it
out.
away, or yeah.
So I still feel bed him in at number six. Let him maybe be the and number six. See, frankly, if you are playing at number six, you will be very close to the second new ball. So you will need that ability to play the new ball again. So I feel
That.
he might be a good bet at that position.
And no, I agree with you. And he would also have to learn to play with the tail. Like, should it come to it? Like at number six, you are highly likely to play
Play with the
longer
tail.
with the tail than probably you would end up playing with the first five batters. So uh, Again, I'm pretty much open to, bring him down the order and, probably get some runs under his belt that would
Yeah.
give him some confidence. And we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I'm sure
reckoning,
he'll get opportunities. I'm sure
he'll
he'll
get his
get
opportunities.
opportunities.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's only over time we'll know whether he actually makes the most out of it, or he kind of, that chink in his armor keeps getting exploited again
I
and again.
mean, we'll see.
Now,
Hopefully he doesn't. He definitely seems to be a thinking
yeah,
cricketer. So
yeah.
I so wish for him to,
Just a
really go
small
on and do
segue.
it.
Did you see that a clip of him that they showed on TV where he's manifesting his or visualizing his innings? Oh, so he was padded up,
Okay, I don't know. I
one
don't know.
down. He
Hmm.
had like a Duke's ball in front of him. He was doing something like he was kind of keeping it here, moving, and then he was like
Oh, I
visualizing what
know.
he's gonna play. And then he even did a like a box in front of his eye where he can see the ball and all of that. He was visualizing
Oh,
it.
is it?
Yeah.
I didn't see this particular clip that you're talking about, and I don't know. It just went on to be like a commentator's narrative about what he was trying to do. But this just reminds me that I have seen him do this with the white ball during IPL as well. I have
Oh.
seen a certain Abhishek Sharma do this. Even Shreyas Iyer, I've seen him do this sometimes as well.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I don't know what they do, but I don't know if it has really got any value. But I've now seen, few batters out there do this. Yeah, I don't know. It could just be, manifesting, visualizing, trying to, see the ball better. I don't know what it is. It clearly didn't help. So,
I mean, it
so
helped to a point. It helped to a point, but
I don't
definitely.
know. Yeah, just maybe what if it could they were only able to see it at a certain height. The
Yeah,
way Ben Stokes trapped him, he didn't really let it bounce as high. So,
that's true. But
uh,
I mean,
but no,
coming back to
it's an
KL
interesting
Rahul.
story though. Yes.
Yeah, true. Coming back to KL Rahul, what he missed out in the first innings, he capitalized
Oh,
on that
he's
moment of luck in the second innings where
pure
Haribhor
class
dropped him.
again. I know he went on to live to his dubbing as someone who does well in the first innings or the first test match of the series. I really,
Oh,
really hope that I haven't jinxed by saying this.
oh
He
man,
he looked pure class. He
million
and his
dollars.
defense was great. He looked test match great cricketer. Like, you know what I'm saying? The conventional test match player who would see out, 100, 200 balls
Mhm.
and, toil the field, make the players restless. Wow. What an innings.
I
Some
mean,
of his cover drives were glorious.
every cover drive of his was poetry in motion. It was
I know,
so
I know.
beautiful. So apparently,
Hmm.
the peculiar leaf that KL Rahul has, where he moves his bat to the off stump, and you think he's getting beaten, but he's actually like consciously playing
Guarding,
inside the line.
yes, yes.
It's something called as Kent's defense. It seems in England,
Oh.
some player Kent or somebody he had
Hmm.
actually like done this like a while back when he was kind of moving his bat towards the off stump where the spectators felt like he was getting beaten, but he was actually like consciously like knowing where his off stump was and kind of leaving the
And
ball
keeping
well.
it close. Okay, interesting. I didn't
It
know
has
this.
worked for KL. I remember earlier when he used to get out like flaying and kind of getting
No.
squared up. He has played that ball significantly well. I mean,
And I was going to say Kale being Kale, it looks classy on him as well. Him doing, actually executing that looks stylish. So
he
gotta give him.
was amazing. Like that innings, I mean, even in the second innings, right? India had two century makers. I mean, Gill unfortunately
It was,
missed out on
it was,
another.
yeah, I was about to bring that point. I think we were sort of in a pickle in losing 3 wickets,
Yeah. When Gill got
and
out the at the beginning of the second day, it I felt
yes,
it could be tricky.
it could go either ways. And then, of course, in came a certain Rishabh Pant. And so this again, second innings of Rishabh Pant was was atypical of Rishabh Pant to begin with. And hear me out. So I still remember the scoreboard.
Mhm.
Rishabh Pant's first 30 odd runs came out of 61 or 62 balls.
Oh,
Point being, he was scoring at like 50 runs,
50.
50 50 strike rate, and KL was 70-ish something when
Okay.
when Pant was in 30. They almost reached a 100 odd runs partnership.
Hmm.
And from there. of course, KL got to his 100 first, but
Mhm.
when KL got to his 100, Pant was almost nearing on 80.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Point I'm trying to make was, he accelerated from there and like made up ground.
He
And
did. He tried one too many shots in his first, like the beginning 20 balls, where
yeah,
he was very lucky that he tried to play a falling scoop to, I think, was it Vokes
touchdown?
or Bryden Cars? I don't
I
remember,
don't
where
remember.
he
Yeah.
got an inside edge and he was saved by that. And
Mhm.
that is when, like, he was seen, like, the stump mic, you could hear him talking to himself, like, kya kar raha hai, seedha khel,
Oh,
bat,
I know, I
seedha
know. Yeah,
rakh,
yeah.
and all of that. I,
He is. I think Ravi Shastri was describing. He's like he is box office. He's a pure entertainer. Like be it with his bat or be him being like being on the stump mic.
yeah.
It is pure entertainment to see
I
him
mean,
play.
it is so nice to. I mean, not so nice, but it is very interesting to see even how these international batsmen keep themselves in check, like when they are playing. I mean,
Hmm.
for us, you must feel like this guy has 6 shots per, like he has all the shots in the book. So when
Like
you have so many shots, it is so difficult to keep your mind clutter free to know what to play on which ball, which I thought
agreed.
he was struggling in the beginning, but the way he was talking to himself, calming himself
So
down,
true,
that,
so true. And I
yeah.
think DK even alluded to this in the commentary.
Hmm.
It seemed as if some shots he has already premeditated them or,
Hmm.
thought of them already, saying that he's probably going to try to execute the shot even
Hmm.
before the ball is bowled. And, as you rightly said, he probably was then, calming himself down to focus on the game
Yeah.
and,
I
and get
mean,
that innings together.
so apparently, Cheteshwar Pujara in commentary said that when he has batted with Rishabh Pant,
Hmm.
initially when he batted, Pant went for some like extravagant shots. Pujara went to him and said, like, play responsibly, you have to score, they're in a bit of pressure. Apparently, that added pressure to Pant and it muddled his thoughts, it seems. So
It could.
then Pujara says the way to approach him in such situations is to just go and tell him what the ball is doing. Like, oh, I think this is happening, I think that is happening. To basically make him think a little more. He is already thinking, but to just make him think so
Yeah,
that
instead of
you can give him that input or that calming experience to know what shot to pick when he is
there was
maybe thinking too much.
Yeah, or instead of sort of making him conscious about his own game, all you
Correct.
need to tell him was, hey, you think the ball is doing a certain thing, and he would come up with like a solve for it and like
Yeah.
play it accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very nice insight because even when they were playing, right, from the body language at
Hmm.
least, KL didn't go and like say kya kar raha hai. It was almost like he went to him and he was like, "Ha, sahi hai," and this,
हाँ
and he
सब
was
सही
like,
कर रहा है,
"Fine,
अच्छा कर
fine,
रहा है,
fine,"
no
and
no
then he
keep
came
going on.
back. Like honestly, that might work for him. Like honestly, like curbing
It's
a
probably
pace
that
is
kind of a
good.
batter. It just reminds me of, I've heard this in interviews of what say Rahul Dravid or Sachin Tendulkar would go on to say to Virender Sehwag. Like these like they are mavericks. You don't better not try to curb them. They are probably not going to in probably giving that input, you're going to probably make them overthink and commit them into something they would otherwise not do. So
There was this story, right? I mean, where Dravid tells Sehwag you're close to something in 9 190 or
it's
something,
a
and then he gets
milestone,
out,
okay.
and then
I
he's
know.
like, the next time I'm gonna hit a six and get to 200, and then he does
I
it.
know, right? Yeah.
That's actually a beautiful point that you brought about Sehwag. I did not think about it. I was thinking of
It's so
Pant as a unique
synonymous. And
identity.
here is my another theory. In of the 11 players you have, at least six batters you have, you at least in test, I think you could only afford to have one such batter in your team. Back in the day when we had the Fab Five, it was Sehwag who opened the
Right,
innings.
right.
And now it is probably Rishabh Pant, and it works that way. It brings that right amount of dynamism into the team, where hey, not like sure, most of your batters are stroke makers, but probably you distinguish Rishabh Pant as that one who could actually have that luxury. Even luxury is probably a far-fetched word. It's just his natural game
Hmm.
as compared to no some other batters who have those stroke making ability, but then probably get overthink and then like
Yeah.
bundle out. The point I'm trying to make is it looks good. It comes off well when there is
Yeah.
only one batter in the team that does that. If you have six batters and four or five of them try to do that, it sort of it doesn't work out. I think that's what we saw
Unless
in BGT.
unless you're England playing baseball, like which we'll come up to in the
We
last.
could come to that later. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, just a very, very sweet moment. Sunil Gavaskar was on commentary when
Oh, the
he
hunt.
got out.
Yeah,
He said, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." Now when he hit a century, Sunil Gavaskar said,
he
"Superb,
came
superb,
out of
superb."
the balcony and he was trying to ask him to do his
Flip.
flip
Oh man, it
celebration.
was like beautiful story. Beautiful story. Pant becomes, I think, the first Indian keeper to score two centuries in
He
in
not just
in the
keeper,
cricket.
he probably is the first Indian keeper. I was also going to say he's the first Indian batter ever to score two centuries in a game against England. I
Wow.
somehow thought Rahul Dravid would have done it, him being in.
Actually, I think the only issue with Dravid not doing this is he took a
The
lot
amount
of
of time he
balls
would
to,
take to, I know, to
yeah,
get
to
there, I
score
know.
100. So that's
Yeah,
why he probably scoring 200s in the same test match would mean the test match is a draw, like
yeah.
essentially.
Hey,
But
that's it. I know he's done that against New Zealand. For all the folks
oh,
out there, my all-time best player ever, ever, ever is Rahul Dravid. So if ever you ever see me fanboying on Dravid, that's because of that.
hey, he has had so many incredible moments where, again, right, he has had so many amazing victories. He's crafted victories for India, but because his style isn't
Flamboyant.
box
Yep.
office, he doesn't get that applauds, maybe plaudits,
No,
maybe.
for sure. Yeah.
But I mean, he is the rock on which we built the foundation on which we
The
built
ball.
our team on. The wall, right? I mean,
No,
that's definitely
agreed.
true. I mean,
But
it's
coming back to it again, I
yeah.
think after all of this, we saw yet another collapse,
Oh my God! Like again,
which
like
was
Rishabh
so
Pant.
difficult to take.
But this time I felt Karun Nair did the exact opposite of what he did in the first innings. First innings, he played as if there is no abandon. Like he just
Hmm.
went and threw his bat around. In the second innings, when he came in, India was at a very in a commanding position. And the ball, there were like some 10-15 overs to go before the new ball, the second new ball.
Hmm.
So he had, and the bowlers were tired. He had a lot of opportunities to score those runs, get himself in. But he went into a shell where KL was able to play those singles, gaps, and rotate the strike. Karun Nair would play the whole over, just dead bat the ball. He would just get stuck. He would get stuck to a point where the ball he actually got out was an over pitch delivery, which he should have driven down the ground, which KL,
Yep.
Yashasvi, Gill, Pant, everybody have
Right.
shown how to hit up. It was a boundary ball. He
For
hit
sure.
it straight back to the bowler because his feet didn't move. He was so tentative. I mean, it is. I mean, that shows you somebody who is 33 years old still has that new player nerves when he's playing after a while.
No, for sure. It is as much as it is like a fairy tale story for him to get this second chance in his way. And I think he had earned it for sure. Like the
Yeah,
way he batted
no doubt.
in domestic cricket over the last 1.5, 2 seasons, he earned it. It's definitely, I don't want to call it sad. It is, yeah, it's just probably our expectation out of it. I would still want him to do well. But my fear is probably the reason why he got dropped the first time around
Hmm.
6, 7 years ago. And given his age, I really, really hope that he tries to make the most of the chances he gets. He may not really, I think this is my personal opinion again, he may not really get as long of a rope as probably as I would get.
Right.
So again, I realize this probably just adds more pressure to him than
Yeah, yeah,
how it
yeah.
does. But cricket is such game that you got to sort of deliver the
But
goods else.
at least I hope he'll get the opportunities in this series. What happens beyond the
He,
series is a
he
different
certainly plays the
conversation.
next test match. I don't see the batting combination might change, might not change, less likely, but I certainly don't think any of our first six batter. get dropped
Yeah,
for
yeah,
no
I think
reason.
that
So
is. I
yeah,
think the problem wasn't with our top order batting.
batting as much. I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, we
we did.
the others chipped in and
I mean,
compensate.
again, right after Karun got out, you had this horrible collapse where for 30 odd runs you again lost 6 wickets. It
I
was,
know.
I mean, you look at Shardul Thakur, and I was very disappointed with the way he got out, even in the second innings. The exact same ball, exact same shot.
Yep.
Like there was, I don't know. There was no learning from the first innings. I mean, you would expect somebody to learn from the first innings. That, I mean,
Yeah.
it is just, and the tail batsmen just swing, like blindly swing and get out, which again doesn't sit well with me.
So I agreed. I don't deny the point. The point I was trying to come to is I don't know if our tailenders are so poor that the opposition, be it most other oppositions or top teams, always seem to have that one bowler who could come and clean up our tail. Whereas India, over the years, has never had that one bowler who could do that for us. Like, in this case, Josh Tongue, you know,
Yeah,
came to
yeah.
England's rescue and sort of cleaned up our tail, like bowling that Yorkers and getting us bowled. You can arguably make a case and say that, hey, Jasprit Bumrah has it in him. But dude, like Jasprit Bumrah is, he is he's master of all trades.
Master of
So,
all trades.
you cannot take him and, use Bumrah everywhere. He's not that one silver bullet to solve all your,
I mean,
problems.
the problem is Josh Tongue is the tail mop up bowler. For Bumrah,
He
we
did
think
that.
he's the opening mop up bowler, he's a middle mop up bowler, he's a
He
tail mop up
is.
bowler. You can't have one person do
If
everything.
someone in modern cricket right now that I would want to get a 10 wicket haul and actually deserves it in every right possible in technicality of it is probably him. Like he could be that one who could go on to get like 10 wickets.
I mean, honestly speaking, I don't want that because if Bumrah takes 10, that means your bowling lineup has
Oh, no,
been
this is
toothless.
this
So,
is the oh, no, I mean sure. But then this is a very fan theory or
yeah, yeah,
fan
fanboy,
expectation. Yeah.
fanboy dream. And I get that, and I get that. It's just that currently, even
No,
without this fanboying, that's how it looks.
yeah. The
Like
point I was trying to
that's the
back was
reality.
he's probably that one bowler who has all the tricks,
Yeah,
against like, 10 batters, 10
right,
opposition
correct,
batters. So, yeah.
correct. I mean, again, right, India collapsed, and where we should have given them a target of 400 plus, we ended up giving them a target of 370. It might seem like just 30 runs, but the difference is you gave them about 6 overs to bat in the first evening, and the last 10
The
overs,
fourth
and
in, yes.
India, and I mean fourth innings, and in on the fourth day,
Yeah.
and India did not do much with the last 10 odd overs that they batted either. Like, had your batting unit
Agreed.
stayed, you could have given them a target of 400 plus. See, in hindsight, what they did on the final day, you could say they would have still chased it down, but having those 40 odd runs going in with the momentum on your side instead of the momentum being on the opposition
Yeah.
side is a big difference. Like,
It's a big
I
difference. And, arguably you could also say that, hey, anything 400 plus is psychologically a big
psychology.
target to go after.
Yeah,
So, it could have played out that way as well.
yeah.
Yet, I think end of fourth day, England were 20 odd runs for no loss,
21
I
for
think.
zero, I think.
I still had some hopes. Like, I, yeah, I couldn't quantify it in like, win probability or win sense. I thought somehow we could go
Actually,
through.
more than hopes, I would still think last day, no matter what you say, baseball, everything, chasing 350 down in a day is not easy. Like, it's
Yeah,
definitely not
that was
easy.
right. Agreed. I agree with the point. The other thing I was going to make say was, I also felt that Jadeja. Looking at the pitch, this is end of fourth day. I felt that hey, the pitch had enough roughs that Jadeja could come and exploit, and arguably he did that in a way. He looked dangerous. There were some violent bounds that came off,
Yeah.
but to again England batters' credit, they they unsettled Jadeja a lot. Like
Mm.
even though Jadeja was sort of
Duckett,
varying
right,
his
with his
runs in line,
reverse.
reverse sweep, and even after Ben and some whatever point in time that Ben Stokes came in, he even went after Jadeja and like played reverse stroke against him. It just sort of unsettled Jadeja is the point that I'm trying to make. Even with that pitch and some help the pitch had to offer, we couldn't really extract it as
But
much.
I felt Jadeja, what he did against Ben Stokes, where he was
Hmm.
consistently hitting the rough and kind of making the ball talk, he did not do that enough with Ben Duckett. I think Ben Duckett, with how quickly and how proactive he was, he
Aggressive, yeah,
completely
exactly.
threw
He
through.
unsettled him for sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, Jadeja off. Siraj had one of his better days as a bowler. He was disciplined.
spells
He
in
was
the
good.
second innings. Yeah,
He was just unlucky. Like no edges came in and
correct.
everything. Even the edges that came in fell here and there, and there weren't any clear cut chances, barring one,
Yep.
which again, like Siraj created, fell to Yashasvi. Was not an easy catch, but
No,
once
no,
he
it's not
got
an
there,
easy case.
got few
Running
runs
in,
to it.
yep.
I mean, he should have
You
taken
would
it.
so hope and wish.
No, I mean you see the difference, right? Like uh you saw this guy. I think Pope, Ollie Pope, take that
Hmm.
blinder of a catch against Karun Nair, and that
Oh,
triggered a
yeah.
collapse. You never
Yes.
know, right? You never know. One
You never
catch,
know it. Yep.
one moment, like changes something. It was, I mean, that guy played a brilliant innings, like 149 on the last day at that pace. He basically set him and Crawley, but more
I was
so
about
him.
to bring Crawley up in the conversation as well. Almost a 200 run stand
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that is
yeah,
demoralizing. Like when chasing 370, if your first like opening pair has already scored 200 of those runs, you get that feeling. You
yeah.
you feel way more confident than ever. You give yourself that agency to think that hey, we can do this. Like that sort of broke India as well in the sense that
I
we
was gonna
were.
say that more. I mean, it did two things, like gave them the morale boost
Mhm.
and broke India's morale as well, where we were almost letting go. And to think, Bumrah did not get a single wicket in the second innings. They play. I
Yes.
Go on, go on, go on.
No, no, go for it. I was just going to concur with you and, just
Yeah, I mean they
struck a
played
chord
it
with you.
brilliantly. The best example, like just one example, was that when Ben Stokes was playing Bumrah, he was literally defending every ball, getting behind the line and defending.
Yep.
The first over Prasidh Krishna or Shardul came on. The second ball
They
he stepped out and smacked him
went
over
after
cover for
him.
a
Yep.
boundary. Yeah,
It was so one-dimensional, right? They just knew that they had to see Bumrah through, play very, very sensibly, and then go after, Prasid, Siraj, Shardul, and they know they could unsettle them. Like,
yeah. And he called Shardul's wicket again, strangled down the leg side, is
I
the archetypical Shardul Thakur golden arm wicket.
I know, right? I think it was just a over or two before that I texted you, be like God, like Shardul doing Shardul things.
Yeah,
He got hit for a couple of boundaries in that over.
yeah,
And then boom, he got two back-to-back wickets. And as
yeah.
you rightly pointed out, that was a typical Shardul Thakur wicket. And even at that point, the hopeless Indian cricket test fan I am, I'd be lying if I said that, hey, I didn't feel, at that point in time, I felt that, we had a chance.
We
We
had a
could,
chance. I did agree.
it was just like the much needed breakthrough and in route that we could have made.
They just, if you see their story in the first innings and the second, no, other than that, obviously, like Harry Brook and a Duckett falling off successive balls, they did not have a collapse. They had partnerships throughout the innings, in the first innings and the second innings. That was the biggest
Yep.
differentiator between us and them. Like even there, Ben Stokes was lucky. Yeah, he tried to reverse sweep everything of Jadeja,
Hmm.
but it worked for him. They had a 50-60 run partnership. It basically got the target from 120 to 60. And then you had a Jamie Smith and a Root again, who very sensibly played and like kind of shepherded the innings through.
Hmm.
It was a clinical performance. Like, and again, right, the chance that we spoke about with Yashasvi. I mean, this wouldn't have made a difference, but there was one ball where Stokes reverse swept it, took his glove, like looped up and fell. There was a short leg. There was a I think fine leg. No, yeah, there was a short fine leg, there was a short square leg, there was a keeper. It
Hmm.
fell right in between all three of them.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I probably have missed the ball, but yeah.
yeah, I mean that. I mean, what I'm trying to say is India just weren't switched on the field. They had so many misfields, they dropped
Yeah,
chances, they just weren't there.
just one thing led to another, and we couldn't ever feel that we had that, that sort of handle in the game.
Yeah,
Fielding, be it bowling, we could always. I was about to say that we could make an arguable case saying that hey, had we had one more bowler who looked more potent or as potent as Bumrah, maybe. But then the fact that we had limited resources to play with.
no, I mean there is only one Bumrah. You cannot like everybody wants 11
True,
Bumrahs
true.
and
Like,
11.
but I was trying to make an argument be like, and I'm not saying that Shami should be here.
Yeah,
I would still want to place my trust on the current bowling lineup we have. The point this I'm trying to make is had someone else been able to step up and like support and keep that pressure on the other
mm-hmm.
end, and as they famously say, right, like fast bowlers hunt in pairs.
100
So
pairs.
you need at least two of them to make it worthwhile and make
Yeah, I mean,
to
you
sort of
build
keep the
pressure
pressure
from
on.
one end, and then the other one
Yep,
takes the wicket. That's just how it goes.
true.
And Prasid did look better in the second innings. The ball that he got Crawley off, and then the ball he got Polly Pope out,
Fully pop
and
off.
then
Yep.
the kind of initial balls he bowled to Root, he
Hmm.
looked threatening. But again, right, it's
But
so
he
few and
couldn't.
far
He
between.
wasn't consistent. He couldn't keep his line as much
Yeah, I
to
mean, so few and
to
far
follow
between.
through.
He conceded at six again in the second innings. You
He was
cannot
pretty
do
much
that
conceding boundary over so much so
easy.
that the batter felt so comfortable, and
Yeah,
they could just see off the other balls in the over.
I mean, that is it is so unfortunate that he has that skill, but somehow he just wasn't able to find that consistency. And
Hmm.
and if you look at the test match as a whole, yeah, I mean that basically was the pattern throughout the test match from us. Dropping chances and leaking runs. Like that is
Yeah.
basically what we did throughout the test match in
Single
our
most factor would definitely be fielding and fielding in general, not just drop catches. There were
misfields.
misfields or stooping body language that showed and didn't really help us keep that pressure either.
Yeah. I mean,
I had
yeah, go on.
yeah, I was going to say so here. I had an interesting observation during the game,
Hmm.
and especially the English commentators kept bringing this up again. Um, the fact that KL Rahul and Pant seem to be more actively slash
Yeah.
heavily involved in either field placings. And I think I don't know if Ravi Shastri or other Indian commentators were in the panel while they brought this up, but I distinctly remember there was definitely two times or two distinct instances where they kept bringing this up and sort of trying to question. I don't know,
Gill's
Gil's
captaincy.
command or Gil's captaincy. What's your take on it? I have my take, of course, I'd follow after, but I just wanted to know what do you feel about
No,
it?
I mean, I think it was just, I would say, more knowledge of the territory. I think
Hmm.
Pant and KL have played this more. They've played against this English side more than Pant and more than Gill. So I
Gil,
think
yep.
at that point they were just trying to give their inputs. I won't read too much into it. It was just an instance. What do you think?
No, great. I am aligned. I'm glad that you mentioned this. I'm of the same opinion as well. At this point, definitely Pant and KL have been to the have been to England twice before. This is their third time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there is no harm in it in the sense that we are so used to we are so used to believing or thinking that hey, captain is that single decision making entity in the field, and to some extent, then the social media or even legacy media is sort of sort of painted that narrative that we
Yeah.
so end up believing that. But I think, as they call it, it's sort of a leadership group or leadership group that makes
Mm-hmm.
the or sort of synthesizes and make the
Decisions.
call.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't again, as you rightly put, I wouldn't read too much into it.
Yeah.
End of the day, it's sort of a team game. They were trying to make that finer adjustments and get that one breakthrough which could have potentially led to
I mean,
another.
if you
So
so want to talk about like Gill and not Gill, Pant and KL making those decisions, all of the chances that we produced were Gill's field placements and Gill's bowling changes. Like you won't give him
precisely, yeah,
credit for
yeah, yeah,
that,
exactly.
right? So it's okay. It's at the end of the day, you lost the game. Unfortunately, there were moments where things didn't go to plan how we wanted. So you're gonna have a
Correct.
lot of, yeah, like
Yeah, not too
chatter
much
about that.
to read into it. Agree.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All in all, I will say we don't need wholesale changes to this team for the next test. I think we are pretty much covered.
Agree.
There are probably two to three things
Two,
I would
I
like
was
to,
going to, yeah.
yeah, touch upon. Firstly, do you think Bumrah will play the next test?
Do I want him to play? Yes.
Of course, of
Do
course.
I think he will play? I don't know. Since he had already announced that he will play only three test matches, um, I think he would, he would rightfully stick to it. Here's another take. This is just one series. Um, I think Bumrah as a whole is an asset.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather want to play him sparingly, thoughtfully, and have him available for pretty much the next 3, 4, 5 years as
Mm-hmm.
much as possible. Then sort of bring him on every game, outwork him, tire
Mm-hmm.
him, and that leading to another injury. He's growing old. He's probably 31, 32. I'm not sure how old is
31, I
he.
think 31.
Point I'm trying to make is his body as such is going to be going to get difficult from here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And of course, history of him is history, his medical history, fitness history isn't as great. I wouldn't want to stress him out to an extent that he has another long, prolonged
Injury.
injury that could cost us in sort of the long run.
Yeah.
So, reckoning all this, I could, I'd be okay to rest him purely on, purely putting his sort of fitness in, ahead.
Let me
But the,
let me see where are we playing the next test match. Because I
and when
will
are we
probably,
playing the next test match? If it's going to be in the next 5 days,
no, no,
it
no.
might
The
make it.
next is 2nd of July. So
Mhm.
2nd of July is like some 10 days away. It's in
Okay.
Edgbaston. It's in Edgbaston.
Hmm.
So the idea is Edgbaston is traditionally not considered to be a very good bowling wicket. It's like more of a batting
Was
paradise.
Headingley was Headingley one?
No, that's true. That's true. But
Yeah,
the point I'm trying to say, see, Headingley or wherever we played the first test, Bumrah's gonna play the first test. Like you wanna set the tone of the series, so that
agreed.
I don't think we even considered the fact that whether we want to play him here or not.
Yep.
The bigger question is Edgbaston now is
10
not a
days
bowling
after.
friend. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, 10
it's
days
10
after?
days after, so that kind of makes room for him to play. But the test match after that is at Lords, and I know at Lords with the slope. Uh, Again, just plugging this in. Don't mean to brag. I traveled to US with my wife and my friends this year. UK with my wife and my friends this year. We happened to visit Lords, and everybody keeps talking about the slope, the slope, the slope. It's legit. The slope is significant where you see. So if you remember, there are those base of the seats like on the ground.
The very
If
first
you
row.
on one end, the ground, the level is up to the foot of the seats, and on the other end, if you see, there is actually like a few feet of gap after which the seats start. Like it's
Oh.
that big a drop. So
Hmm.
the ball naturally does tend to move off the wicket, and in such a wicket, we saw what McGrath did against England. We've seen what a bowler who can move it off the wicket can do.
Hmm.
Bumrah is going to be lethal. We would want to play him there. So considering all of this, I don't think Bumrah plays. And if Bumrah doesn't play, whom do you pick? Do you pick Kuldeep or do you play Ashdeep?
Wow. I think I would have personally gone for Arshdeep. I think I had Arshdeep in the first game as well. The fact that you mentioned it's not a bowling paradise, makes me wonder, hey, like how what difference is is either Arshdeep or Kuldeep going to make?
Yeah.
But a more like to like replacement. Again, Arshdeep is unproven. He's probably hasn't played a test match for India yet. Reckoning all that, I might still go with Arshdeep purely with the fact that he's conventionally known to be like or known to be a bowler who can swing. So,
Swing.
if there are some, even if first session of play with the new ball and he could extract something, maybe I'll go with him. Um, I think I've seen enough of Jadeja to feel comfortable,
Hmm.
sticking to Jadeja, of course, given the fact that he could bat as well and, chip in with that overs, makes him an handy pick. So overall, I might just swap. Arshdeep or Bumrah with Arshdeep. The another interesting swap that I was going to propose is Shardul. You know.
I mean, I would like to have a discussion about Shardul, but just on this point, I have my arguments remain the same, but my solution is something completely different.
Hmm.
Bumrah is your X Factor wicket taker. Arshdeep could be your X Factor wicket taker. For me, other than Bumrah, it's Kuldeep, who is the X Factor bowler. So I
Hmm.
would rather play Kuldeep, and given how, honestly, I'm very unimpressed with how Prasid bowled. I don't know if I would want to play him again. I might bring in Arshdeep, but the one reason why I might stick with Prasid is that in England, your lengths have to be fuller than maybe other parts of the world for you to swing the ball. So if Prasid was shorter this test match, he has 10 days and he has already played a test match, two innings where he's bowled and he's seen what both lengths do. If he can work on it and show in practice that he can pull his length up, I'll persist with him and bring in a Kuldeep instead of Bumrah. That is, or if he can't show that he can bring the length up, it's
Hmm.
Arshdeep because he naturally bowls fuller. He has that left arm
Correct.
angle. He swings it, but I just don't want to make too many changes. Like that's the only
I
worry I
mean,
have.
2 out of 11 isn't too many changes.
No, because
So
the 2 out of 11 will definitely become three. If you ask me, I wouldn't play Shardul in the next Test match. What?
I
What?
wouldn't play Shardul either. I'd probably play Nitish Kumar. He's probably a more like to like replacement in the sense that he could again arguably bat better.
Mhm.
Not arguably, I think he can
He
definitely
will
bat
bat.
better.
I
He's
think
definitely a better batter than Shardul. And the fact that if you just want 5 overs out of that, out of a
exactly.
fifth choice bowler, then yeah, sure. Like, bring Nitish Kumar Reddy in, groom him. Probably a good chance for him to, come in and pick some
And
experience.
honestly speaking, if you are playing, like, just going, I'm advocating
Hmm.
why we should play Kuldeep. If you play Kuldeep, your worry is Bumrah as a fast bowler cannot bowl more than 5 or 6 over spells. Any fast bowler.
Yeah.
So if you have a Kuldeep, you can play Kuldeep and Jadeja for longer spells and
Hmm.
use your other two pacers as actual strike bowlers where they come in full throttle, bowl 4 5 overs like at their full pace and then go back. And then you have your spinners bowl, you'll have Nitish Kumar Reddy
The
and
bowler,
he
the
might as
filler
well
overs
be,
in. Yep.
and Nitish could be effective in England, like pitching the ball up, swinging it.
He could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider him. And like just a moment, you saw India drop so many chances.
Hmm.
The one good catch India took was Nitish Kumar Reddy of Ben Duckett, where he
Of,
actually took a sharp catch.
of Prasid Kumar's, when Prasid's bowling. Yeah.
No, actually, that was Shardul's bowling, I think. That was Shardul's bowling.
First
Back to
innings,
back
right?
wickets,
Second
right?
innings. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
You're
my
right.
like
Shardul's.
Nitish will be a good option. So for me, the two definite changes will be like Bumrah because he's sitting out, bring in a Kuldeep, and you bring in a Nitish instead of Shardul,
Hmm.
and maybe an Arshdeep for Prasid. I'm not sold on either at this point, so I'll stick to two changes for now. Oh man,
Fair
it
enough.
it's gonna be super interesting. Like the thing that there is a 10-day gap is a boon and a pain for us fans.
Hmm.
Like we are really we after this loss, we want another game quickly for that so that we can right the wrongs that we've had. But it's
Or I
kind
would
of
say
good.
it's kind of good. Uh, because some of the obvious areas of opportunities are so obvious that you probably just need more practice. And I think there is one practice game in between. Maybe it could just serve as the, that sort of downtime we need as a team to,
Mhm.
uh, sort of disassociate and, get our thinking board back on and just focus on the small tweaks.
Yeah,
I say small because it's fielding. Like, of
yeah.
course, it's an important component of the game, but end of the day, it's fielding. You could practice it, and you can definitely make good solid difference in like the second test itself. So
Honestly, the people who've dropped catches are not traditionally bad fielders. They are good
agreed.
fielders.
Exact
So I
precisely.
think
Yes.
it's just a matter of confidence and concentration. So take
Concentration.
some
Agreed.
time off, maybe work on that, maybe meditate. I don't know what they do to increase
Sure.
concentration, but
Yeah.
come back with a better frame of mind, attack the
Agreed.
next test, because if anything, our biggest fear going into this test series as Indian supporters was our batting, and it has come good in
Which has
spades.
proven enough. Yeah.
I
So
mean, I would say your top five have each scored 100, maybe barring Sai. Like you have two for pun. In
mhm.
your top five, you have five
Yeah.
hundreds from your top five. You cannot ask for any better from a top five in a test series, the
Agreed.
first match. So I think we're good on that end. Few tweaks here and there. Even England made mistakes. Like no two ways about it. Bowling first was the bad decision, was the wrong decision. It could have cost them. They gave a lot. That's their brand of cricket. They'll give you chances. Had India taken our chances, it could have been a different
I
game
think they back
altogether.
their strength. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of like, did they were they flawless? No. Like there are moments where India could have capitalized. So I still think,
You're so right. Yeah. Instead of saying they were flawless, we were a bit toothless in the sense that
yeah,
we couldn't really,
we were. I think we were
rattle or
rusty
unsettle
in the
them enough
important
to.
moments.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But certainly looking forward to it. But I hear you're traveling somewhere soon.
No, thanks for bringing this up. No, I'm just traveling back to India, no, for 4 odd weeks, and be back home, spend
So
some
we
time
can
with
expect
parents.
to see you put on a few pounds when you come back.
No, I would, as I've been trying to give a positive spin around it, I would say I would just eat well, improve on my, mental well-being by eating good food without being conscious of it. And then, worry about the few extra points that I might have added once I'm back to the grind. So
Yeah.
after that,
And
back to the grind.
one good thing is the test matches will be at a good time for you. So you'll really get to
Good
see
time
them.
for me for sure. During the daytime, I could, I would be traveling, so I would try to,
Sure.
follow it as much as possible. And, hopefully we could regroup sometime in between and, shoot probably another, preview or review video of the game, depending on,
And hopefully by
how
then
I'm able to
Liverpool
find time.
sign four more players.
Four
So
more players. Sure.
so uh, yeah, it was really nice catching up. Tough day for us.
Likewise.
Uh, India couldn't get through, but hoping for a repeat in the opposite direction to what happened in BGT. We lost the
Sure.
first test,
From
and
here, we could come back and win 3-0 or so.
hey,
So hopefuls. Hopefuls are call us the cricket romantics.
absolutely, yeah,
But great. Again, nice catching with you. I could, I just probably end saying that thanks all for joining us. I would say, please hit like, share, and subscribe, and put your honest feedbacks in the comment, or of course, reach out to us directly as well. Try to improve our content as much as possible.
absolutely. Ciao,
Cheers. Bye.
bye. चलो भाई ये आई थिंक माय गॉड कितनी देर नहीं बट इसमें 20 मिनट हमारा स्टार्ट का इंट्रो सब कुछ है इसमें सो
और
दिस वाज
इसमें पता
एक्चुअली
है,
एन
इसमें
आवर एंड
दस
15 मिनट्स
10 से 15 मिनट तो कटने वाला है.
नहीं बट आर हाँ एग्जैक्टली आर एंड
ये
15 मिनट्स आई थॉट वी वर स्टिल वेरी ऑन टॉपिक इस बार तो
नहीं नहीं, काफी ऑन टॉपिक का, अच्छा लगा मेरे को.
आज के सर रुक मैं ये रोकता हूँ 1 मिनट रुक
नहीं